Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Sydney Whitty. Thank you for joining us. It's a plan that's created controversy. The Biden administration last week unveiled a long-awaited plan for student debt relief that could affect up to 43 million Americans, almost 900,000 of whom are in Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Emily Miranda has reaction from students from our Washington bureau.
We will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans.
According to the Education Data Initiative, the average college debt in Arizona is around $35,000, up to $10,000 of which could be erased under the White House plan. Arizona State Senior Daniel Roque welcomed the relief, even if it's not everything he wanted.
The $10,000 does definitely help, but at the same time, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still incredibly expensive to just attend college.
Biden's plan will forgive up to $10,000 in debt for borrowers earning less than $125,000 a year, or $250,000 for married couples. Pell Grant recipients could get up to $20,000 in debt relief under the plan that was announced Wednesday. Students and organizations gathered outside the White House to praise the plan a day after it was announced.
We believe that students who are currently in college, or high school students too, who are thinking about going to college, will look at this as a step in the direction of making college affordable for them.
While President Biden's announcement comes as a relief to many, students and advocates across the country are already planning their next steps to seek complete debt relief.
Roque, who pays out-of-state tuition, agrees that Biden could definitely do better.
It's only kind of like a discount on what we're paying right now in terms of college education.
Administration officials have been careful to point out that about 90% of the borrowers who would benefit from the plan are earning less than $75,000 a year. In Washington, Emily Miranda, Cronkite News.
Critics say the plan isn't fair to those who have already paid back their loans or didn't take them in the first place. The White House estimates canceling the debt will cost $24 billion a year, but will depend on how many take advantage of the program. Moody's Analytics says that the debt relief program will have a minimal effect on the overall U.S. economy. If you need some extra housing help, families in Mesa have until tomorrow to apply for government assistance. The City of Mesa's Housing Choice Voucher waitlist is closing its pre-applications tomorrow at 5 p.m. 4,000 applicants will then be selected for the main waitlist. Any low-income individuals or families are encouraged to apply. You can find the application online at mesaaz.gov/HCV waitlist. That website also has a list of places with free internet access for additional support. The federal government is pausing the program to send free at-home COVID tests to households on Friday due to a lack of funding. The program began in January. As of last May, the program had sent 350 million tests to households around the world. But officials say they're worried about a winter surge of the virus and a stockpile of the at-home test is depleted. The Biden administration says they will resume sending the free home test if more funding is approved from Congress. Orders placed before Friday will still be delivered. Today's Artemis I launch has been pushed back to later this week because of an issue with a cooling engine. The mission plan for an unmanned capsule to launch this morning spent around 40 days orbiting the moon. Then it would go another 40,000 miles into space before returning to Earth. You may be thinking, we already went to the moon. Why are we going back? Retired NASA astronaut Dr. Mae Jemison says that this is a necessary step in space exploration. She says that establishing a permanent presence on the moon is extremely important.
It also gives you, at the way this is set up, a gateway station for even constructing the vehicle outside of the Earth orbit. So this is a really interesting mechanism to go to Mars. And then people might ask, why do you want to go to Mars?
Mars is our closest neighboring planet, but there's still so much that we don't know about it. The Artemis program plans to put us back on the moon so we can continue onto other planets like Mars in the future. Nash officials now say that the earliest the launch will take place is Friday. After the break, we'll take a look back at some of our stories from our sports bureau, from the Arizona Cardinals on a reality show to the science behind Cornhole.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Something different about you, a new brightness in your eyes.
Welcome to the Hotel Portofino.
How utterly charming.
Something is coming, can you feel it now?
My dreams have been invigorated.
We like stories that are going to elevate us.
Feel it now.
What is your sense now of the situation?
Something is coming.
They gave us possibilities.
This is the opportunity to share my recipes.
There are heroes everywhere you look.
You're going deep into the heart of America.
The Holocaust is a story that Americans have to reckon with, too.
This is pure exploration.
Wow!
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted, they need to be explored.
We're the dreamers.
How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
Such a thrill to do this.
Let's start having some fun.
You can do anything.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
From training camp to just before the beginning of the season, the show Hard Knocks has given fans an inside look to their favorite NFL teams over the past 2 decades. Now it's the Cardinals' turn. Cronkite News reporter Brianna Garcia gives us a glimpse of what the reality series has in store.
Come August, Hard Knocks will give fans a behind-the-scenes look of the Cardinals' 2022 season. NFL Films has worked with Arizona before, 7 years ago on the show All or Nothing, and they expect even better storylines this time.
And we're really excited to work with Cliff Kingsbury, who, as you know, is a great young coach, has done really good things so far with the Cardinals, and certainly also has a lot to prove.
Head coach Cliff Kingsbury isn't the only appealing character to appear on the show. Players like Kyler Murray and J.J. Watt are sure to draw a lot of attention. But Kingsbury says the show will feature more than just the big names.
I think there's a lot of kind of really high character men that we get to work with, whether it's staff, coaches, players every day. So just to kind of tell some of their background stories and to get to know them on that level, I think it'll be great for our fans.
While Hard Knocks is sure to give the team some added publicity, not all players are excited about having cameras capture their every moment.
The locker room is a safe space. You know, that's an area, and our offensive line room for us is a place where we get to just kind of, you know, just be guys sometimes, you know, and, you know, to have to filter conversation, you know, in that respect, you know, it is what it is.
With Hard Knocks coming to Arizona, NFL Films hopes to produce a show that all football fans will watch.
It's a team that's really loaded and is you know, a team that we think is gonna be a great subject for football fans, not just Cardinal fans, but all NFL fans and fans of good TV. I think are gonna enjoy this series.
Even more enjoyable to watch will be if the Cardinals can make it to the playoffs, or better yet, the Super Bowl in their home stadium. In Phoenix, Brianna Garcia, Cronkite News.
HBO starts shooting the series at the beginning of the season, but the first episode won't air until November.
50 years ago today, one law changed women's sports forever. It was a 37-word clause tucked away inside new education legislation. Here's Cronkite News reporter Ashley Stevens on the impact of Title IX.
Title IX was written to address gender equality in education, but 50 years later, it may be most known for its impact on women's sports. According to the Women's Sports Foundation, 1 in 27 girls participated in sports before the passage of Title IX in 1972. Now, that number is 2 in 5. Women's participation in college sports has risen 545% since 1972. At the high school level, only 1% of girls played a varsity sport in 1971, but by 1996, the number rose to 40%. The biggest stride for women came at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio, where women dominated. U.S. women won 41 medals, 17 gold more than any other nation, but there's still a ways to go. Monetary gaps exist in women's professional basketball and soccer leagues and in the NCAA. And this year marked the first time the NCAA has ever allowed the women's basketball tournament to use the Final Four branding. In the studio, Ashley Stevens, Cronkite News.
This year, after a legal battle, the U.S. women's national soccer team and USA Soccer agreed to a landmark deal that equalizes World Cup prize money.
To many, cornhole is a backyard game. You grab some bags, a couple of friends, and have a fun way to pass some time. Cronkite News reporter Ethan Ryder explains why, to some, there's actually a science to this game.
For most recreational players, cornhole is simple. Pick up any bag and throw. But for competitive players like Nate Walsh and his father Ken, choosing the right bag can make all the difference.
Whenever I look for a bag, I try to look for a bag that can do as many different things as possible, so it's not limiting my strategy.
I throw real soft, so I need a fast bag and a floppy bag. So that's, you know, some bags are really bunchy, called carpet bags. People that throw hard like to throw those because those stick. Whereas if I threw those, I would just barely hit the board and wouldn't go anywhere.
The art of cornhole is more like a science. Bag manufacturers have come up with a numbered speed scale. The higher the number, the faster the bag.
You gotta have something that fits your style. There's so many different manufacturers. I mean, you look at an open here, there's so many different manufacturers, but it all depends on how you throw.
You get an entry-level bag, it's only going to throw one way. Once you get one of these bags in your hand, you start seeing that you can cut, roll, flop. It just opens up a whole other set of the game that you see on TV rather than in your backyard barbecues.
Not only do players have to pay attention to the intricacies of bags, but the manufacturers have to stay alert to the most minuscule of details for a bag to be pro-certified and successful in the market. Each bag has typically gone through 6 to 8 months worth of testing.
From the resin that you use to the bag materials that you use, when we're dyeing or supplementing the bag, certain colors change the feel of the bag, which you have to kind of take into place because it can also change the speed of the bag. It can change how the bag breaks in.
Competitive cornhole bags are also dual-sided, with a fast and a slow side. Players choose what side to use depending on the board and weather conditions.
Out here it's humid right now with everyone here, so we'll get a faster bag or throw slick side versus sticky side. So there's nuances with the environment.
So while you need the right skills to be successful at cornhole, you also need the right bag. In Mesa, Ethan Ryder, Cronkite News.
The American Cornhole League is holding another regional event here in the Valley this Saturday in Chandler. Visit kbcornhole.com for more information.
Stephen Curry just won his 4th NBA title, but he has bigger accomplishments coming on the golf course. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Green was at his junior golf tournament to show why it's so important.
Stephen Curry's second tour stop for his underrated golf tour teed off last week in Wickenburg Ranch. Curry created this all-expense-paid tour to provide a platform and feeder system for minority junior golfers to succeed and be recognized regardless of their race, gender, or class. The tournament consists of 30 boys and girls aging from 12 to 18 years old. Parents of these golfers are seeing the dream come to life from what Curry started.
He sees the opportunity as is underrated. I think that's so eloquent. It's really a testament to these kids who are often underrepresented.
Stephen Outlaw, the director of golf at Wickenburg Ranch and one of the spokespeople on the underrated tour panel at this tournament, is no stranger to the lack of inclusivity in golf. Outlaw and his former Georgetown College teammate were the first black men to play golf in the Mid-South Conference in the NAIA in 2003. For Outlaw, Curry's tournament hits close to home.
It kind of brings things full circle. I wasn't used to, in my early days, playing golf, seeing a person of color, right, in my position. It's great to be in this position to host this event, show the young men and women what's possible, and then to see what's possible.
These kids get to showcase their skills on a national stage and get recognition from anywhere. But most importantly, they get to play with kids who look just like them and build relationships that'll last a lifetime.
You don't usually see a lot of people that look like us playing this game, and to see that there are others here that are good and we know what we're doing, it's encouraging and inspiring to keep going.
While these kids are having fun competing and chasing the Curry Cup, awarded to the top golfer at the end of the tournament, they're also on the forefront of change in this new age of golf. From Wickenburg, Lauren Green, Cronkite News.
The next stop on the tour is Houston on July 17th, followed by Tampa. Then they finish up the tournament right in Curry's backyard in San Francisco in August.
A casual sports fan knows Football Club Barcelona is one of Europe's premier soccer teams. What they might not know is that club has a residency academy here in Arizona. And as Kyle Betts tells us, it produces some of the best young talent in the country.
Luka Sawinski is an 18-year-old California native committed to the University of Denver to play soccer this fall. Despite being a high school senior, he already lives hundreds of miles away from home. He ended up at Grand Sports World, more specifically, the FC Barcelona Residency Academy. The academy, which is originally known as La Masia in Barcelona, Spain, has a second location here, where players like Sawinski can receive a high school education at the ASU Prep Academy before lacing their boots.
The professional facilities, everything. I knew I wanted to be here. It was really something special. It's a dream for a youth soccer player, really.
Youth players come to Casa Grande knowing the program, which was founded in 2017, will prepare them for the next level. For players like Luka Sawinski, their days are filled with practices, but they need all the pitch time they can get, as all Barca Residency Academy graduates either go on to play collegiately or professionally. Sawinski is treating this opportunity as a sort of mini college experience before he goes on to play in the NCAA.
It's certainly a challenge, but all of us, it takes someone pretty special to want to come out here, kind of an isolated area in Arizona, and I think that's what makes this place so great, because everyone here, has the same goal.
Jed Quinn, who is one of 135 staff members on the property, has been a part of the program for 5 years. He's been able to see player development firsthand, as some join the residency in their early teens to learn Barcelona methodology and style of play.
If we can have those guys progress through together, what we've seen in the last few years is that by the time they get to U19, it's clicking, and we really then start to see the style come through.
Living in a rural area away from friends and family might be difficult, especially for a youth soccer player. But the Barca Residency Academy has created new opportunities and relationships.
There's kids from everywhere in the country, even outside the country. I think my favorite part has just been meeting them, getting to know them, learning everything about them, and I've been able to make friends, and I'll be friends with them for the rest of my life, hopefully.
In Casa Grande, Kyle Betts, Cronkite News.
Julian Araujo, Matthew Hoppy, and Caden Clark are just a few of many current professionals that have graduated from the academy.
More than just a partnership on the sideline, the Scottsdale women's basketball coaches are married. Tasha Washington and Joe Bonham spent their first season leading the Artichoke program this past year. Cronkite News reporter Ian Sachs describes how they are balancing their strong relationship on and off the court.
Tasha Washington is getting set for her second season leading the Scottsdale Community College women's basketball team, whom she played for 2 decades ago. And by her side is her husband, Joe Bonham.
Sitting in this chair, I feel a lot more comfortable that it's my husband. You know, he's gonna have my back more than anybody.
Washington and Bonham met in 2014 while they were both assistant coaches at the Division I level. After getting married, the two took a couple of months off from the game before joining forces to lead an AAU team in Tennessee.
It wasn't 10 years ago that it was so unnatural to have a husband and a wife on a bench together. And just sort of seeing that become mainstream, and you know, I wouldn't work for anybody else, right, in the game of basketball.
You look across the country and there's so many coaches that coach with their spouses. It's not like frowned upon, I think, how it used to be.
The duo complement each other well, as she is more defensive minded and he is more geared toward the offense.
It's awesome just to see them like connect on the court, off the court, and then it brings us together as well, because that connection's so well with them two that it makes the connection with us so much better.
Bonham knows his role is simple: to provide ideas to Washington.
Sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, why don't we try this? And if we don't, it's okay, right? It doesn't mean I'm not going to come up with another idea. It just means that one wasn't it.
For this coaching couple, it's their strong bond that has enhanced their ability to combat challenges both on and off the court.
Those hurdles of helping others and pouring your heart and soul into others, and doing it together, the hurdles you hit, it makes your own hurdles not feel as big, right? And certainly the big ones, it's easier to overcome because, I mean, you've done it with, you know, your spouse.
In Washington's first season leading the program, the Artichokes worked through COVID issues and were forced to play 12 games in a 3-week span. In Scottsdale, Ian Sachs, Cronkite News.
Scottsdale finished third in the conference last season after losing to Pima Community College in the semifinals. Washington begins her second season at the helm of the program this fall.
Summer sports camps are in full swing across the valley. These camps can leave a kid with memories that can last a lifetime, especially if you can meet a professional athlete. Cronkite News reporter Connor Cox gets an inside look at one camp run by the Sun's Mikal Bridges.
Meeting a professional athlete as a kid can leave a lasting mark on that young soul forever. Smiles, advice, and basketball were just a glimmer of what was happening inside the walls of the facility in Phoenix. NBA defensive star Mikal Bridges held his first youth camp here the past few days and has been making his own positive impact on the community. It's also been a rewarding experience for the Suns forward.
Just to see the kids happy. I think that's the biggest thing, just them having fun, you know, competing, but the whole thing just making new friends and having fun.
What makes a good camp is a solid staff. Former and current players coming in and volunteering to give these kids a camp like they had growing up.
It's always a good opportunity to give back because I know I went to camps like these too and I learned a lot from it. I know I got a lot of memories from it too, so it's great to give back. It's a great feeling too.
The kids are not only learning from great coaches, they're getting access to amenities they might not have otherwise.
They're able to have the opportunity to be able to come into the gym and play basketball whenever they want. They have a place to come and eat and just hang out, make friends, just be around the culture that we kind of bring up and grow here. It's great. I couldn't ask for a better spot to be.
Players are getting better. The kids are getting better. Pass me the ball, bud. I want to see if I can catch it. And I'm getting better too.
But no one is catching up to Bridges.
Yeah, hey, man, they talk a lot of smack out here sometimes, so I got to show them up.
In Phoenix, Connor Cox, Cronkite News.
5-2 loss to Texas in their third game of the Women's College World Series. First-year head coach Caitlin Lowe earned her first win in the series against Oregon State, and Cronkite News reporter Ashley Stevens tells us about the important mentor watching her every step.
The Women's College World Series drew a record 12,533 fans watching softball players from all over the country compete to win a national championship. Mike Condrea, the winningest coach in NCAA history, made an appearance to watch his former team.
There's a personal interest in watching all of these teams compete, and I'm just really pleased that I was able to choose something that I love to do, and that was the bat and ball game, and never worked a day in my life. And I feel like right now I'm the luckiest man on the earth, being able to watch this and share in Caitlin's journey now.
4 years spent under him as a starting outfielder, 9 years under his coaching staff. What Caitlin Lowe took from Coach Candrea happened to be off the field rather than on the field.
You know, Coach Candrea always talked about this being about people, and I think it's so important. The relationships are what matters, and the X's and O's are great, but like pouring into people, and I don't mean 18 people on the team. I mean support staff and everyone that goes into making this program tick. Those are the things that make it rewarding. It's not always just helping someone be better at the plate. It's about, you know, helping them be better people.
She checks every box, and so I was very, very happy that she got the opportunity to take over the program, and this program will get better and better and better with her. So now it's a matter of going out and recruiting the right kids and going back to work.
3 consecutive trips to the Women's College World Series, and the University of Arizona is looking to make it a 4th. In Oklahoma City, Ashley Stevens, Cronkite News.
Arizona State and the University of Arizona will have to wait until next season for a shot at the national championship title.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.